Hey guys, I've dusted off my Bible today and having a little look through it. Just out of curiosity, I was looking at the story of Adam and Eve and the serpent in the Garden of Eden, where they disobey God and eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And I always get a little bit cranky when I hear people talk about it, and they're, really quick to blame the woman for how all this went down. And she was only one guilty party of God's creation that went against him and defied him in this story. There was one, the serpent, Satan. He knew that he was going against God when he spoke to the woman, who obviously, when I read the story, I'll show you how this went down. And it's really interesting because when God tells Adam the instructions, he says that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall not eat from. When God tells Adam that, Eve is not created yet. So firstly, Adam gets told, he has, a discussion with our Father in heaven, and our Father in heaven tells Adam, before Eve is even created, you should never eat of that tree. And he is the husband, the head of the wife. So there's Eve who disobeys, Satan who disobeys, and Adam who disobeys. And God will give each of them a punishment for their disobedience. And God also knows the end from the beginning. So even when he creates Adam, he already knows what's going to happen here. He already knows that they're going to do this. And God has a plan for all of our redemption. So let's quickly read. We're going to start in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, the Lord's talking to Adam, and he's placing him in the Garden of Eden. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. So God's already telling him, when you eat of this fruit, which I'm telling you not to, you will die. So don't do it. So he's giving Adam free will. He's engaged in a relationship with Adam, his firstborn creation, that there is a tree in the garden that he's placed him in that he shouldn't eat of, or it will kill him. So Adam's well aware. They've made this agreement together. Let's continue from verse 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So that's really interesting. So you see there, Adam's placed into the Garden of Eden to look after it, to be the caretaker. And then God fills the garden up with all of the animals, and he gives Adam the job of being able to name all of the animals. And then all the animals have a partner, but there's no partner for Adam. So God puts Adam to sleep, takes one rib, closes him up, and creates a woman. And then he brings the woman, or he brings the creation to Adam, and Adam names the woman like he named the other animals. Woman, because she was taken out of man. It's so cool. Alrighty, we're just going to have a look at what happens in the garden with that sneaky serpent. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. So they were innocent. They were innocent, they were pure, they were in the Garden of Eden, and they were having their blessed life. Chapter 3, Genesis. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So here we see, even though Eve was not with God and Adam when Adam was told not to eat of the tree, there's been obviously a conversation between at least, husband and wife, and the wife has been told, God might have told her too, that, that tree in the middle of the garden, you're not to eat of it. And Satan's trying to trick them, basically. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldn't not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And unto Adam he said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also the thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it wast thou taken. For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. So there we go. That's the story of what happened, and the disobedience by the three parties, and the cunningness of Satan, who clearly wanted to hurt God and knew the best way to hurt God was to hurt him through his children. Thanks for listening, guys.